My mother decided she's moving into my workshop where I run my business. Today, construction crews showed up with permits I didn't sign. Hi everyone. Today's story will blow your mind, but really quick, if you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. Channel's been a bit quiet lately, and your support keeps it all going. Let's jump in. Original post. I, 32M, need advice because I feel like I'm losing my mind here. My mother, 54F, just dropped a bombshell on me last week, and I don't know how to handle this without destroying our relationship. Some background. I'm a self-employed woodworker. 3 years ago, I converted my detached garage into a fully equipped workshop. I'm talking industrial-grade dust collection system, specialized power tools, custom workbenches, lumber storage, the works. This isn't a hobby, it's my livelihood. I have regular clients, custom furniture orders, and I'm finally making decent money after years of building my reputation. My wife Sarah, 29F, and I bought this house specifically because of the garage. We looked at dozens of properties before finding one with a structure large enough for my business. I spent $35,000 converting it. New electrical, insulation, security system, everything. Last Tuesday, my mother came over for what I thought was a regular visit. She walked through my workshop, which she rarely does, and started talking about how spacious it is and how it would make a perfect little apartment. I laughed, thinking she was joking about the sawdust and noise. She wasn't joking. She sat us down and explained that she's been thinking about her future. She's getting older, she's 54 and in perfect health, and wants to be closer to family. She announced, not asked, announced, that she'll be converting my workshop into a mother-in-law suite and moving in within 6 months. When I tried to explain that this is my workplace, she waved her hand dismissively and said, "Oh honey, you can set up a little workspace in the basement. Your hobby isn't more important than family." Hobby. She called my business a hobby. I reminded her that this hobby pays our mortgage. That I have $50,000 worth of equipment in there. That I have contracts and deadlines. That the basement is unfinished, has low ceilings, no ventilation, and floods every spring. Her response? "You're being dramatic, James. Plenty of people work from their basements. Family comes first." Sarah tried to diplomatically suggest we could help her find a nice apartment nearby, maybe even in the same neighborhood. Mom's face went cold. "I see. You don't want me around. I understand. After everything I've done for you, James, this is how you treat me." The guilt trip was immediate and intense. She brought up every sacrifice she made as a single mother. My dad left when I was 8. Every school event she attended, every penny she spent on my education. She actually started crying, saying she thought her son would take care of her when she needed it. Here's the thing, she doesn't need taking care of. She's healthy, active, still works full-time as a dental hygienist, and has a nice 2-bedroom condo that's paid off. She goes on cruises twice a year. She's more financially stable than we are. When I pointed this out, she said it's not about money, it's about being close to family as she ages. She wants to be part of our daily lives, help with future grandchildren, we're not even trying yet, and have the security of family nearby. I told her we need time to think about it. She said there's nothing to think about. Family takes care of family. She left shortly after, but not before commenting on how we could add French doors where my loading dock is and how the bathroom could go where my lumber storage is. Since then, she's been sending me links to mother-in-law suite conversions, calling Sarah about paint colors, and telling everyone in our family about her exciting move. My aunt called yesterday to congratulate me on being such a good son. I'm at a loss. This workshop isn't just where I make money, it's where I've built my dreams. I have orders booked through next year. My reputation is built on quality and reliability. I can't just shove everything into a basement that floods. But she's my mom. She did sacrifice a lot for me. Am I being selfish? Should family come before business? How do I handle this without destroying our relationship or my livelihood? Update 1, 2 weeks later. I can't believe I'm writing this update. Things have escalated beyond anything I imagined. After my original post, I took everyone's advice and tried to have a calm, rational conversation with my mother. Sarah and I invited her over for dinner last Sunday. I prepared talking points, printed out my business financials, even made a PowerPoint showing why the workshop is essential for our income. She didn't let me get past the first slide. "James, honey, I'm not here to see a presentation about your woodworking. We're family, not business partners." I tried explaining that this wasn't about choosing business over family, but about our ability to pay our bills. She kept interrupting with comments like, "You're creative, you'll figure it out," and "sometimes we have to make sacrifices for the people we love." When Sarah gently suggested we could build an ADU in the backyard instead, Mom's response was calculating. "Oh, so you'll spend money on a new building but won't give up a garage for your mother? I see where your priorities are." The dinner ended with her storming out after I refused to give her a timeline for the conversion. She said she'd give me space to come to the right decision. That was Sunday. On Wednesday, I came home from delivering a dining set to find my workshop door open. My mother's car was in the driveway, and she was inside with a contractor, taking measurements. Workshop. With all my tools, active projects, and expensive equipment right there. I'll admit I didn't handle it well. I asked the contractor to leave immediately, which he did after seeing my face. Then I confronted my mother. "What are you doing in my workshop?" "Our workshop, honey. And soon, my new home. I wanted to get quotes so we can budget properly." "Mom, I haven't agreed to this. You haven't said no either. I'm being proactive. You know I like to plan ahead." That's when I noticed something that made my blood run cold. My lumber rack was half empty. My carefully organized wood stock, thousands of dollars worth of black walnut, cherry, and maple, was gone. "Where's my lumber?" She smiled. "Oh, I donated it to the high school woodshop program. They were so grateful. I knew you'd want to help the next generation of craftsmen. Besides, you won't need all that wood in the basement." I lost it. I actually yelled at my mother for the first time in my life. 20 years of carefully selected, dried, and stored wood, some of it irreplaceable, just given away. Wood I had specific projects planned for. Wood my clients had already paid for. She started crying immediately. I was trying to help. "You're acting like I committed a crime. It's just wood, James." The contractor had left his business card on my workbench. Richard Simmons, specializing in garage conversions. When I called him later, he confirmed my mother had contacted him 2 weeks ago, before she even told me about her plans. She'd asked for a rush quote and told him the space would be cleared out by the end of the month. Here's the kicker. When I checked my business email that night, I had 3 messages from clients asking about their orders. Apparently, my mother had called them to, helpfully, let them know I was moving workshops and there might be delays. One client canceled their order entirely, concerned about the instability. Sarah's been my rock through this, but I can see it's wearing on her too. She found my mother's Pinterest board last night, James and Sarah's guest house, with hundreds of pinned ideas. The description: "Can't wait to be closer to my baby boy and help with grandbabies." We changed the locks on the workshop, but I know this is far from over. My mother has already started her campaign. She's told my entire extended family that I'm choosing money over her well-being. My cousin texted asking why I'm abandoning my mother. My aunt posted on Facebook about the importance of taking care of aging parents, clearly directed at me. The guilt is crushing, but so is the reality of losing my business. I'm now working on active projects while looking over my shoulder, wondering what she'll do next. I've had to explain to clients why my mother is calling them. I'm trying to source replacement wood for projects that are already behind schedule. I feel like I'm going crazy. How did it get this bad this fast? How do I stop this without becoming the villain in everyone's eyes? Update 2-3 weeks later. The situation has spiraled completely out of control. I need to document this because I'm starting to feel like I'm living in some kind of nightmare. After changing the workshop locks, we had exactly 4 days of peace. Last Monday, I was in the workshop finishing a coffee table when I heard vehicles outside. I looked out to find a moving truck and my mother directing movers to put boxes in our driveway. "Mom, what is this?" "Oh good, you're here. I'm just storing a few things while I prepare for the transition. I've started decluttering my condo, amazing how much one accumulates." Boxes. Everywhere. Labeled, kitchen, bedroom, Linda's memories. She was literally moving in already. I told the movers to stop. My mother immediately went into victim mode, telling them her son was refusing to help his aging mother. One of the movers actually looked at me with disgust. I had to pay them $200 to load everything back and leave. That evening, she called Sarah at work, crying about how I humiliated her in front of strangers. Sarah, trying to keep peace, suggested again that we all sit down with a family counselor to discuss boundaries and expectations. My mother's response? "I don't need therapy to know my son should care about his mother." 2 days later, Wednesday, code enforcement showed up. Apparently, someone reported that I was running an illegal business in a residential area. The inspector walked through my workshop, checked my permits, all in order, thankfully, and mentioned they'd received a complaint about noise, sawdust, and commercial traffic in a residential zone. I knew immediately who called them. The inspector found no violations but warned that repeated complaints would trigger more investigations. He suggested, off the record, that I might want to resolve whatever family dispute was happening. That night, I confronted my mother via phone. She didn't even deny it. I was concerned about the neighborhood, honey. All those delivery trucks and machines running. Once you move to the basement, it'll be much quieter for everyone. Mom, you're actively trying to destroy my business. Don't be dramatic. I'm trying to help you transition. The sooner you accept this change, the easier it will be. But Friday was the breaking point. I arrived at my workshop at 6 a.m. to find construction materials in my driveway. Lumber, drywall, insulation, enough to build a small apartment. A note was taped to my workshop door. James, I've paid for the materials. Richard will start construction on Monday. I've taken time off work to oversee. Love, Mom. She'd spent nearly $15,000 on materials for a renovation I hadn't approved, for a building she doesn't own, on property that isn't hers. I called her immediately. Her tone was cheerful, almost manic. Isn't it exciting? Richard gave me such a good deal. He'll frame in the bedroom where your table saw is, and the kitchenette will go along the north wall. I'm thinking subway tile for the bathroom. Mom, you cannot do this. This is my property, my business. I'm calling Richard right now to cancel. You wouldn't dare embarrass me like that. I've already paid him a deposit. Besides, I've told everyone at work about my new place. Pastor Michael is planning a housewarming blessing. I did call Richard. He was professional but firm. My mother had signed a contract and paid a $5,000 non-refundable deposit. Canceling would mean she'd lose that money. He also mentioned, uncomfortably, that she'd told him I was fully on board but too busy with work to handle the details. Sarah and I spent the weekend in crisis mode. We consulted a lawyer who confirmed what we already knew. We own the property. My mother has no legal right to renovate our building. But he also warned that family disputes like this can get messy, expensive, and emotionally devastating. My mother, meanwhile, has gone full scorched earth on social media. She's posting daily updates about her journey to be closer to family, and how change is hard but necessary. Every post is flooded with comments from friends and family praising her for being proactive about aging and me for being such a good son to take her in. She's created a false narrative that I've already agreed to this. People are congratulating me at the grocery store. My barber asked when the big move was happening. The pastor called to discuss the housewarming blessing. I've had to put 3 projects on hold because I can't guarantee workspace continuity. One longtime client has already taken their business elsewhere. My reputation, built over years, is crumbling because of the instability. Sarah broke down last night. She loves my mother but feels like we're being held hostage. We can't even enjoy our own home anymore, constantly worried about what's next. Monday is tomorrow. My mother says construction starts. I've told Richard he's not allowed on my property. My mother says I wouldn't dare make a scene. We'll see who's right. Update 3, 2 months later. I'm writing this update from a hotel room. Sarah and I have been here for 3 days because we can't go home. Not won't, can't. But I'm getting ahead of myself. After my last update, Monday came. I took the day off work and stationed myself in the workshop at 5 a.m. Richard the contractor showed up at 7 a.m. with a small crew. I met them in the driveway and calmly but firmly told them they were not authorized to work on my property. Richard was professional. He called my mother, explained the situation, and told his crew to stay in their trucks. My mother arrived within 15 minutes, dressed like she was going to a business meeting. James, don't make a scene. These men are here to work. I stood my ground. They're not authorized to be here, Mom. This is my property. What happened next still feels surreal. She turned to Richard and said, loud enough for all the neighbors to hear, I'm so sorry for my son's behavior. He's been struggling with some issues lately. We're getting him help. Issues? Help. Before I could respond, she'd started crying. Not just tears, full sobbing. Neighbors came out. She told anyone who'd listened that she was just trying to secure stable housing near family, but I was having episodes and making it difficult. Mrs. Patterson from next door actually asked if I was feeling okay, and suggested I might be overwhelmed with work stress. Richard, to his credit, recognized the situation was beyond his pay grade and left with his crew. But the damage was done. My mother had publicly painted me as unstable. Over the next 2 weeks, she escalated beyond anything I imagined possible. She called my 3 biggest clients and told them I was taking a mental health break and might not complete their orders. She was concerned and wanted them to be informed. 2 cancelled immediately. The 3rd only stayed because I drove to their office personally to explain. She filed a complaint with Adult Protective Services, claiming she was a vulnerable adult being denied safe housing by her son. The investigation was humiliating. I had to prove she had a fully paid-off condo and significant savings. She told our insurance company I was running a dangerous business in a residential area. They sent an inspector. Again, everything was legal, but the repeated inspections are now on record. But the nuclear option came 2 weeks ago. I was at a client meeting when Sarah called, hysterical. There were contractors at our house. Different ones. With a work order and paperwork showing my mother as a co-owner of our property. Turns out, when we bought our house, I'd needed help with the down payment. My mother had gifted us $30,000. What I didn't know, because I trusted her and didn't scrutinize every document, was that she'd structured it in a way that gave her a legal interest in the property. Not ownership exactly, but enough of a claim to muddy the waters. The contractors had permits. Legally acquired permits for a renovation of existing structure with family member consent. Our lawyer spent 3 days untangling the mess. The construction was stopped, but my mother had successfully cast enough doubt on the property ownership that we're now in legal limbo. She's filed a formal claim stating the $30,000 wasn't a gift but an investment in a multi-generational property. She has emails where I thanked her for making our dream possible and said she'd always have a home with us. Taken out of context, twisted just right, it looks like we had an agreement. Our lawyer says we'll win eventually, but it'll take months and thousands of dollars. In the meantime, we're advised to document everything and avoid any actions that could be construed as denying her rights. So we're in a hotel. Our own home has become a battleground. My workshop, my livelihood, sits locked but unused because our lawyer advised against operating while the property dispute is active. My business is effectively dead. Clients won't wait months for resolution. My reputation in the community is destroyed. Everyone sees me as the unstable son who won't help his aging mother. Sarah's family has offered to let us stay with them, but they live 2 hours away. Moving would mean abandoning everything I've built here. My mother, meanwhile, is playing the victim perfectly. She's staying with my aunt, telling everyone how her son kicked her out and is denying her rightful home. She posts daily on Facebook about forgiveness, family values, and praying for healing. The financial cost is devastating. Legal fees, hotel costs, lost business, we're burning through our savings. The emotional cost is worse. Sarah can barely look at my mother's picture without crying. I wake up at night thinking about my empty workshop, the orders I can't fill, the life we built being dismantled piece by piece. My mother sent me a text yesterday, "This could all stop if you just accepted the inevitable. Family takes care of family." I used to think that meant something beautiful. Now I know it can be a weapon. Final update. Resolution. It's been 6 months since this nightmare began, and I finally have closure to share. The legal battle was brutal but shorter than expected. Our lawyer discovered something crucial. The document my mother used to claim property interest had a major flaw. The notarization was dated 3 days after we'd already closed on the house, making it legally impossible for her investment to be part of the original purchase. When presented with this evidence and the possibility of fraud charges, my mother's lawyer advised her to drop all claims immediately. But the damage was done. My woodworking business was destroyed. 6 months of inability to work, cancelled contracts, and a ruined reputation meant starting over wasn't feasible. I formally dissolved the LLC last month. The workshop that was once my dream now stands empty. Sarah and I can't afford to convert it back. The legal fees ate through our savings and then some. We're selling the house. My mother's reaction to losing the legal battle was predictable. She played the victim one last time, posting a long Facebook message about how money had corrupted her son's values and how she forgave me for choosing material things over family. The extended family bought it. I'm permanently branded as the son who took his mother to court over a garage. The truth, that she tried to steal my livelihood and committed property fraud, doesn't fit their narrative. But here's the unexpected part. Losing everything led to something better. An old client who'd watched the situation unfold reached out. He owns a custom furniture company 3 states away and offered me a position as lead craftsman. The pay is better than what I made self-employed, with full benefits and a proper workshop. Sarah got approved for a transfer with her company. We're moving next month. The house sold quickly to a developer who plans to demolish the workshop and build a pool. It hurts, but it's also fitting. That space is too poisoned with memories now anyway. As for my mother, I haven't spoken to her since the court hearing. She's told everyone I've abandoned her, moving away to punish her for loving too much. She's back in her paid-off condo, taking her cruises, living the same life she always has. The family fully supports her. I've been erased from holiday gatherings, birthday parties, family photos. My cousin had a baby last month. I found out through Instagram. But Sarah and I are free. We're building a life without manipulation, guilt trips, or emotional terrorism disguised as love. My new workshop has skylights and proper dust collection. My colleagues respect my work. My clients pay on time and don't receive calls about my mental health struggles. I'm in therapy, working through the guilt and grief. Some days are harder than others. I loved my mother. Part of me still does. But I've learned that love without boundaries isn't love, it's possession. To those facing similar situations, document everything. Get legal help early. Don't let guilt override your instincts. And understand that sometimes, protecting your life means losing your family. They say family comes first. They're wrong. Your mental health, your livelihood, and your right to live without manipulation come first. Family, real family, would never ask you to sacrifice those things. My mother wanted to be closer to family. In the end, her actions ensured she'll spend her remaining years without her son. She won the battle but lost the war. I'm building dining tables again. They're solid, stable, and made to last. Unlike the family bonds I once thought were unbreakable. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply refusing to be destroyed.